we are, and we're live.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Hi,
We're just gonna wait a couple seconds, 30 seconds or so, for everybody to start joining. And as you join, maybe you can tell us where you are listening from. Today we have a guest with us, Wojciech Fudala. And first of all, we apologize for the delay. The live stream was scheduled to begin over at this point 30 minutes ago, but we ran into some technical issues, but we are here at last. So I think,
we did it.
Yeah, we made it. So people have begun to join. I'm going to start off the episode in earnest. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Welcome to this Le Salon de la Musique live Meet the Artist episode. My name is Nicholas Stark, and your hosts are Francesco Comito and Antonio Comito.
Hi, guys.
Hello, everyone.
While our guest is Wojciech Fudala. Wojciech, you can say hello to our audience.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me here.
We're glad you could join. So, Wojciech, this is the part where I'm going to brag a little bit on your behalf so our audience can learn more about you before we head into this episode. And I apologize in advance because a lot of these names, I've been trying to practice them so I can pronounce them properly, but I will make mistakes. So if I do, I'm going to ask Wojciech for some help. So Wojciech Fudala was born in a Polish family of long artistic tradition. After completing a distinguished academic journey, he made his debut in 2007 with Silesian Philharmonic Orchestra, where he has worked with many distinguished conductors and performed with Polish and foreign orchestras, such as the Brussels Chamber Orchestra, and excuse me for my non-existent French pronunciation, the Orchestre Royal de Chambre de Wallonie, the Polish Baltic Philharmony, and the National Forum of Music, just to name a few. At home and abroad, Wojciech is also a competition prize winner, makes regular appearances at music festivals, and has recorded for CD labels such as Chandos, ZigZag Territoires, DUX, CD Accord, and more. There's too many to name, Wojciech. I hope that you are okay with the fact that I cut out a few. Chamber music is also an important part of Wojciech's musical life, and Wojciech has collaborated with many outstanding international artists such as Priya Mitchell, Lorenzo Gatto, Agata Szymczewska, Giovanni Sollima, Gary Hoffman, Dominic, and let me try this before I ask you for help. Połąski. Yes, I hope that's Połąski, and many more. Since 2011, he has been a member of the Polish Cello Quartet, receiving a Friedrich Classical Music Award for their album of works by Grażyna Baczewicz. Do you want to try pronouncing that correctly, Wojciech?
That's very good. Grażyna Baczewicz.
Baczewicz. Well,
let's not complicate things.
Listen to the way that he is pronouncing it, not mine. And Chandos is the label. Well, in 2016, he created a duo with pianist Michał Roth. The Fudala-Roth duo performs regularly at the most prestigious venues in Poland and abroad. Wojciech Fudala also devotes himself to the art of teaching, and since 2018, he has led a cello class at the Academy of Music, UCH. Hoping once again that is the correct pronunciation. In 2014, he became a solo cellist for the National Forum of Music. And last but not least, and this is the first question I'm going to ask you, Wojciech, you play an instrument built by Jules Merciol in 1933. So, as I said, my first question to you is, can you tell us more about this instrument? How did you acquire it? And how do you take care of it? As I was actually telling you while we were offline, maybe my most prized possession might be my MacBook Pro, my fully decked out MacBook Pro, and I try to take good care of it, but I can't imagine what it must be like to take care of an instrument that is almost at this point. And actually, are you going to celebrate the anniversary? In 2033, but the instrument is almost 100 years old. How do you take care of it? Do you have to, watch out for things like humidity? Is it insured or anything like that? And also, does it produce a sound that is, particular in a way that is detectable by the ear of an audience member compared to, not just an expert such as yourself, and also compared to a modern, regular, non-100-year-old cello? That's a lot to unpack. I'm going to let you answer now. Go ahead.
Okay, first of all, thanks for such a great introduction. I'm really grateful to be here and to share my thoughts with you and your followers. You're doing actually a great job with this Salon de Musique.
Thank you, really.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Wojciech.
And first thing, I'm glad that you take care of your computer, of your laptop. But the thing is, with an instrument, and especially with a stringed instrument, which cello is, you have to treat it a bit like an alive person.
Would you say that you have to treat it a little bit like a woman?
Yeah, because actually, it's made of wood, which lives. You mentioned the conditions that you have to storage it. So, for example, you have to take care if the room, even the concert hall, it's not too dry or too wet. Actually, it's worse when it's too dry. Or when it's too cold. I also use special. For me, it's not special, but I use gut strings, half gut strings, which react for the temperature. So this can sometimes put me in trouble when, for example, I wait for my performance in my room, and it's I don't know 24 degrees or 25, and then the coordinator of the concert hall just decided to use air condition, and it's 18 there. So basically, it's the worst situation because my especially my low strings they just go up, and it's really
they react
sometimes. Yeah, so it's a living person, let's say, and as you said, it's quite old. And first of all, it's really great instrument. I mean, it's not necessary that the instrument has to be old to be great. Nowadays, we have really fantastic luthiers at the top who make instruments which are comparable to old Stradivarius and things like this.
I see.
But as you said, this instrument is very old. It was quite lucky. I mean, the cello was quite lucky because it's in a perfect condition. Because sometimes with the old instruments, things can happen, like with a car.
Of course, definitely.
Okay.
So,
Wojciech, can I ask you one question? You said that the cello is like a living person, but what about the cello on a flight? First of all, it's considered by the flight companies as a living person, so you have to purchase a ticket also for your cello. First of all, and second of all, how your cello reacts to the
changes in
pressure
can be damaged. I don't know. How do you deal with this?
It doesn't cry. That's good.
Like children's.
Yeah. But generally, yes, I always travel with it with it next to me on a seat. I have to buy an extra seat, which is the disadvantage of this what we talk about.
Do they give also to the cello some snack? I mean, when this
and the second, actually, it doesn't get the snacks. That's really bad. But and the second disadvantage is I never have a good clear view through the window because it has to be always next to the window. So, for example, when I fly, sometimes when I go for holidays, I feel really strange when I have nothing with me.
You get that feeling that I get when I don't have when you don't have like your keys or your phone. You check your pockets and suddenly you feel naked. It's like, oh my gosh, where? Oh no, okay. I have to carry my cello with me this time. I'm good.
Exactly. And I must say I'm really lucky because it's a very good instrument, which was yes. Sorry, can you hear me?
No, I said right. It's extremely rare and and I imagine extremely valuable.
It is, but I'm not the owner of it. I'm just playing it.
A custodian.
It's a part of the collection of National Forum of Music. They just, let's say, they bought it for me. So it's really great because these old instruments are quite valuable, and it's hard to afford it. But I can play it since I'm a member of the National Forum of Music. And I was the one to choose it. And when I tried many cellos, I think last 15 years, yeah, I think I've played around maybe less than 10 instruments, like regularly.
Yeah.
Unimpressive.
I had a chance. Like my favorite instrument, which I'm still in love with, was old British cello, English cello by Benjamin Banks. That was an 18th century cello, which I had for 3 years, I think, when I started in Chapel
correctly, an 18th century cello.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, this one was not. I could not afford it. I would have to sell my parents and all my family to afford it. Yeah. But it was a great adventure to play it.
Are you able to distinguish, if I played, let's say I blindfolded you and I played, or not me because I don't know how to play the cello, but if a skilled player played this cello that is almost 100 years old, or the one that you just mentioned that is from the 18th century, would you be able to tell the difference between that sound and the sound of even a high quality modern cello? Like, what are the characteristics? Yes. What makes it so particular? What are the acoustics? To tell us a little about this.
The greatest instruments, the greatest old Italian instruments, like they are the greatest, and that's hard to discuss. Very often they're not so easy to play.
Why is that?
They have I think it's also they're gaining through all these years, and through the fact that they haven't played by great artists. They gain a kind of soul, let's say, a character, and this character is not always easy, and you can recognize that when you play on it. When you listen to it, it's, I must say, it depends of the player. It's because the instrument doesn't play by itself.
But does the cello choose you, or you that you choose the cello?
Is it like the wand in Harry Potter?
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're getting into the philosophy of living, I think, now. But in a way, yes, we have. When I tried this instrument for the first time, I remember my wife is a pianist. She's a teacher, and she teaches at home, and she was in the next room, and a friend brought it to my place, and I just tried few notes, and she said she opened the door and she said, "Wow, this has something." And I think this is what we are looking for. We musicians, we look for special sound, special character, and actually that's what we look for when we listen to music in general. So it's like this.
I see. This
so
seems
I
to be
must
very
say
different.
This special, and I've seen a question in the chat if this influenced my playing. Of course. I mean, first of all, a good tool influence. I tell it to my students and my teachers. They told me that when I was studying, that a good tool, good cello, will influence your development, because every cello has its limit, but sometimes not.
Maybe also from a psychological perspective, like if you know the level of the tool that you're using, you're going to psychologically be, you're going to feel sort of the pressure of having to live up to the expectations, let's call them, of having such a world-class tool.
Yes.
Yeah, but also it can expand your range of possibility as a musician, and then you can experience so many colors and you can experiment so many possibilities. I mean, it's like you have a very an incredible tool, and you can you can do whatever you want with it. And I think this is a very empowering experience.
By the way, in the comments we have Anthony Elia, who is who has been a guest on SM in the past, and he is a composer, and he says he has a newish, he calls it a cello suite that was never played before, because he had to cancel his trip to Kazan in 2020. So I don't know. I think maybe he's suggesting that you maybe take a look at it, and if you're interested, you might get a chance to play it.
Thank you.
This is great.
The link, exactly. He sent the link. That's going to be present in the comments, so you can visit that.
Thank you very much, Elia. Anthony.
Antonia, what you were saying before, that actually having a cello can expand, a cello that is a great cello can expand your horizons. But this makes me think about one particular thing. Me as a pianist, you know that when you go to conservatory, you go to universities, it's possible for us to play as a pianist great instruments. So you go and you play on a Steinway, you play on a Fazioli, you play on a grand piano. So you have the possibility to somehow practice on those instruments. But what actually makes me think is that not every cellist can have access to play those great instruments. So how can they develop if they don't have maybe the financial possibilities, or maybe they don't have somebody that can purchase that instrument for them? What do you think, Wojciech, about this?
Yeah, that's a good question, and I see that sometimes with my students, especially when someone is really talented, and you see that he needs a better instrument. I try to help, and there is always a way to find a way. Basically, there are scholarships, there are foundations, collections. Unfortunately, in Poland, it doesn't work so well. It's because of our history. We almost lost everything in the Second World War. And a lot of instruments, like the collections of instruments, are just gone. Like not so
stolen or destroyed.
Sometimes destroyed, but more stolen. I think.
At least stolen is better than destroyed. At least they're still
there is a big story now, and it's going to be investigated for sure if it's really true. But there is a Strat, a violin, which was found not like 2 months ago or a month ago in Paris, which was a Polish Strat. Yeah, that's just an example.
Lots of art ends up in Paris for some reason.
For some reason, give back our Gioconda.
Exactly. That was the slogan when remind me, when Italy won the World Cup, the soccer World Cup. Was it in 2006? Something like that. I remember seeing this. Some of the fans in the stadium had a giant sign that says "Now," because they beat Paris, if I remember correctly, in the finals, and they said, "Now give us back the Mona Lisa." Francesco was saying La Gioconda. Lots of art ends up in Paris. All right. Go ahead.
Yes, sorry, can I ask one question to Wojciech about? He was saying we lost many instruments during the Second World War, but I'm I don't know actually why, for example, Steinway and Sons, they can produce massively so many pianos of an incredible level. So you go in every theater and you can somehow play
more or less. You always find
yes, more or less on the same instrument. But why for cellos and violins is not like this? That there is one, I don't know, for example,
like
modern company that big company that can produce very high qualities in big production.
I said at the beginning that nowadays there are really fantastic luthiers around the world, not just in Italy, France. There are, but their craft, it's not just a craft; it's half craft, half art. And I'm not a pianist, but piano is. My wife is a pianist, so I know it a bit. And it's quite obvious. Piano is the most mechanical instrument ever made. Somehow, maybe organs, yeah. And so when it's mechanical, I think you can search for let me find a word, like a continuity. Like each piano, it's not really true. Each piano is not exactly the same like the previous one, but it's easier somehow to keep the same quality.
Create a standard process of creation. Yeah.
It's very difficult to do so. I saw a documentary some time ago, or not a documentary. I think it was
that's
like
true.
a YouTube video about piano making.
When they buy a great Steinway or Fazioli or whatever for a concert hall, they send like 2 or 3 pianists to the fabric and they choose like from 20, and each one is different. So it's not really true what I'm saying, but the standard is there. And with string instruments, it's a bit different because as I said at the beginning, the wood it's really alive, and usually when we talk about the top level, they are made by one person.
The entire instrument is made by one person.
Yeah, there is like a personal print. Yeah.
I can answer then Francesco's question, because he was saying, why aren't maybe cellos produced en masse? Why isn't there like a mass production? And the answer, I think, is, Wojciech, you're saying a cello is made by a single person. Well, instead, I saw that the greatest pianos, the greatest types of pianos, brands that are produced today, while there are, of course, artists of incredible skill, craftsmen, artists in that sense, that are working on building these instruments, there are a lot of people involved in the process of building one. So it is a very sort of like conveyor belt, is the wrong term, but the idea is that there are lots of specialists, and each one is dedicated to a specific part of the instrument creation. Instead, it's fascinating to know that a cello is built by one craftsman, by one artist.
Yeah.
There is an interesting question.
I'm just reading it.
It's Ivan that is commenting. I'm looking here on the
phone. Ivan!
If you write a comment, please write it on the page of Le Salon, not on the group, because on the group, as you can see, we are not able to see who is writing the comment. Okay.
Very well, Wojciech. We, at the beginning of the episode, I gave the audience an overview of everything that you do. So among all these things that you do, you're part of 2 ensembles, essentially, because you have the duo and the quartet, right?
Yes.
And then you also... are there
3
more?
ensembles. The third one is the orchestra, which is also important. But
of course,
if we talk about chamber music, yes, it's the duo with Michał, Fudala duo, and Polish quartet.
So, and then you also teach, and you travel, you take part in competitions. So, out of all of this, out of everything that you do, what maybe are you most passionate about?
I I think it's a very difficult question. I
It
think
is.
I try to be as passionate as possible, exactly with the thing I'm doing at the moment. Yeah.
How do you decide
Otherwise,
what to do in the
otherwise there is
moment?
no fun.
Of course. Is
But
there?
if I would have to say what I would choose if I have to choose one, I would never answer this question. I think I would choose two, just playing and teaching.
Okay.
I see.
No.
So you.
I understood. I felt your passion seeing your performances and your video. And I have to say, really, I was amazed by your incredible video. I mean, the one in which you performed the transcription of Roxana's song by Szymanowski with Michał Roth. I remember the time in which the team sent me the video for the check. I was in Arezzo, and I really thought, gosh, these guys are amazing. They are cool.
Yep. The quality of the video, the camera work, everything is really fantastic.
Everything in that performance is stunning. Like, I mean, the transcription is your transcription, no? Isn't right?
It is, yeah.
Your transcriptions, the colors, atmospheres, the phrasing, how you build the climax during the piece, your synergy, and also, as Nick said, the location, the camera work, the video editing. That video was really incredible. And one question for you: could you describe the how the preparation process for that specific performance?
Exactly. What goes into?
Could you say the last sentence, because I didn't hear it well?
The question is, could you describe the preparation process for that specific performance? Because really, it was mind-blowing, amazing.
Thank you so much. I think also Michał is really happy to hear that, because I think he's listening to us.
I'm sure. I saw him.
Yeah. Okay. So the whole thing started this way. We let me speak from the very beginning. We did our first CD about 5 years ago. That was the CD with Weinberg sonatas for cello. Mieczysław Weinberg, he was a Polish Jewish composer. And right after premiering it, we started to think about the next one. And it took 5 years to get into this. And somehow we, like, on the path of our concerts, we met the transcription of Szymanowski violin sonata. There was an already existing transcription for cello, which I think you shared our performance. That was actually our first performance of this piece ever.
Wow.
Yeah. And then we started to think, why not to build the whole CD around transcriptions? And this piece of the Roxana song, it's one of the most known pieces by Szymanowski. The whole opera is amazing, but this little piece is just, it's a diamond.
It's heartbreaking. Yeah. Exactly.
And I knew about this transcription for violin, because this is it's not really 100% true that I'm an author of this transcription, but we had to put something in the CD. They asked us to, because of the copyrights. Actually, Szymanowski did a transcription of the aria, because it's an aria from King Roger. And he did this transcription for violin for his great friend Paweł Kochański, amazing violinist. And I just knew that there is some transcription for cello made like, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. But I just didn't want to even try it. I just took I just got the score for violin, and I just play what's there, and there's 99% of what's in the violin part. But yeah, officially I'm an author of this transcription. So it is a very important piece for me personally, this little area. And if you ask me for a special preparation, yes, we recorded it. we recorded it for the CD, and actually, I don't want to break the picture of this great video, but on the video, actually, the actual sound is from the recording, but it doesn't mean that I didn't play. We had to.
Of course.
It was not the most comfortable situation because they were filming us.
Yeah.
It was not in concert hall. It's a foyer. So they played these filmmakers. They played our recording of this area, and we had to play in a way that we can catch with it.
Yeah, you can synchronize the.
It's a bit like doing how is it called?
Lip syncing.
Playback, you mean?
Playback, yeah. Which I never done before. So
it's very difficult, when you have to do this for a recording, and it's very difficult because an interpretation it's never similar to the previous one, and then it's very difficult to simulate this kind of movement during the performance that can be, similar to audio. Exactly. It's quite uncomfortable.
The King Roger is there is the topic of the topic of this area. It's from my taste, it's about the words are the king, this King Roger, he cannot fall asleep. So this lady is singing this aria for him to finally fall into sleep. He cannot go. That's I'm making it a bit simple, but actually he cannot sleep because of he has really strange thoughts and he's really struggling. And so that's like the earth.
Background.
Earth background, but for me the background we like there is something cosmic about this piece.
Yeah,
and that's why when I work in the National Forum of Music and I pass this foyer like 5 times in a week for my rehearsals, and when I looked up in on the ceiling, there are these little lights which look a bit like stars. So that's why I thought it's a perfect place for it.
Yeah. I have to be sincere. When I listened to the video, I put it in the loop mode, listening to it over and over again because I was so impressed by the level of the performance and the transcription. Really, I really enjoyed it.
Thank you very much.
Wojciech, I would like to ask you one thing. How do you choose the music that you perform?
It's very easy. I try and I take a risk. It can be different. Sometimes it's a commission. We actually now, I think in a more or less half year or a year, we gonna premiere 1 or 2 pieces with Michał, which will be written for us by 2 Polish composers. So with this, you never know. You can expect things because you know those people. I actually know one of them, so I know a bit what I can expect.
Like me too.
Oh. And we commissioned a lot of pieces with my quartet because it's a cello quartet. It's not a normal string quartet, so the repertoire is not that huge, like for the great string quartets. So we commission a lot, really, and it's always it's a risk, but it's an adventure because new music. There was always new music in the past. It was also new music, and it was always kind of risk to play new things. But it's
This is something we definitely want to get back to, because I know that Francesco and Antonio, you have a lot to say. But first, I want to ask you a question, which is from the audience, and I'm going to display it right here. Yes. Do you think your cultural background as a Polish cellist influences your interpretation of? I'm not going to try to pronounce that. Wojciech, pronounce it yourself.
Szymanowski.
Oh, perfect. Do you think it influences your interpretation of this music?
I think first of all, Szymanowski was. If we compare the greatest Polish composers, I somehow think he was one of the most. He was a citizen of the world. He was. I think he was he was just a part of everything. He wrote also mazurkas. There is a great CD of Christian Zimmermann, which we listened with my wife recently, and there are mazurkas also, and there is a lot of Polish spirit in it. I don't know. I think the cultural background, it's exactly what you call it. It's a background, so you can't really feel it. If you feel it, if you try to feel it, like, oh, I'm Polish, I play it different, or then it becomes unnatural.
Yeah.
I think
I see.
you
try to be as neutral as possible.
You have to learn things. You have to, we have our language, which is quite special, especially according to pronunciation.
Right.
And that's also already a background. When I play, I sometimes sing. Very often I sing, or I talk. I talk in Polish. So maybe that's the background. Yeah.
I see. We were speaking earlier of the choice of repertoire and new music. I know, Francesco, this is something that interests you. Wojciech, how important do you believe it is to keep innovating in the world of classical music and to not sort of remain stuck and keep playing the classics, which, even the classics were new at a certain point?
Yeah.
Just a second. Before this question, I would like to understand another thing. You told us before that you are play. How do you choose the music that you perform? Because somebody is commissioning us something. But what if I am an artistic director and I ask you to play a recital, and I tell you play whatever you want? How do you choose the music that you are going to play? What is the reason, the concept? For example, I'm talking about business now. How to promote yourself? What is the reason that that you have to choose one composer instead of another? And after, where is the place for innovation in it?
Let me think. First of all, I have to be sincere when I play, and for me, there's only way I have to play music that I want to play, and we are really lucky as human beings because there's really a lot. You can spend your life on learning new music. I mean, the things which were already composed, and it's not enough. But putting it more practical, as you said, I try to think about management. example, we recorded these Weinberg sonatas, and we premiered the CD exactly on the year of 100th birthday, 100th anniversary of Mieczysław Weinberg. It was a very important moment for his music because there were, he was a forgotten composer for years, for decades, and now everyone talks and plays his music. Everyone talks about Mieczysław Weinberg. So, but still, I think the most important is to be sincere, because I didn't think, okay, let's check the encyclopedia, who has birthday now, I play this. I wanted to play his music like years before, when I was in high school. I think it was the first time I met him. And it's the same. It's not so difficult, because if you can choose between great and great, it's quite easy to choose this. What, for example, the managers of concert cycles ask. Other example, this year we have a Brahms year, because it's Brahms anniversary. We're gonna play with Michał. Actually, it's really strange, because I love Brahms. Michał loves Brahms. We play since 5 years, and we never played Brahms together. But quite soon we're gonna play all 3 sonatas for cello and piano.
I can't wait for those videos.
Originally written for cello, and there is the G major violin sonata, which was there is a transcription by Julius Klengel, which was accepted by Brahms. So it's something that Brahms knew that it's going to happen, and we will play all these 3 sonatas next season. This season, sorry, next year, but this season.
I would like to ask you a question. I'm feeling a little bit bad, because I think it's a very tough question. Okay, in your opinion, what makes great a classical musician today?
We are here to make difficult questions.
I think it didn't really change so much if we compare, because you say what makes big personality or artist nowadays. I think it's the same. It has to be special. It has to be creative. It has to be. He has to master his skill.
What do you mean with special? It has to be special.
I think that he needs to, like, it has to be someone that you want to listen, and you want to choose this particular artist because, I don't know, you love his sound, you love his phrasing, you love his way of being even, or his smiles. But it has to be something.
There are also cellists like some modern cellists that it looks like this, very very famous on internet. That looks also very special. That I would like to ask your opinion also on this thing.
Do I have to? Okay, but I admire. He's a really good cellist, and they are both really good cellists. I met them like before they created this duo, and you must say they're really good cellists. And I'm glad they found.
I sense a but coming. But
no, there's no but actually. I think it's really. I admire the fact that they found their way in this huge market to be happy about what they do. They can live from playing on cello. Come on, it's not so obvious.
Everybody has his place in the universe, we say.
Yeah, and also what's good, I'm not a great fan of the music they play, but it doesn't mean I don't have respect for them. And also, what the other good thing which is coming from it is that more people know about cello.
Yeah.
I really like very much how they play, not the music. I like how they play, how they look at you.
They have a great energy. I think
yes,
we can learn from that a lot.
Absolutely.
I think the fact that so many people can learn about cello is a very positive side effect of kind of content sharing activity.
Yeah. There's a question. Sorry.
Yeah.
Alex is asking if there are any other composers or styles of music that you're particularly interested in exploring in future projects.
Yes. As I said, at the moment, I'm learning the third sonata by Brahms, this violin sonata, and I'm looking forward to know these two pieces which will be written for our duo with Michał. Also, we are preparing. This is not really new, but it's still in progress. We are preparing a new CD with my quartet, which will be based on transcriptions again. Transcriptions of Chopin pieces made for 4 cellos, which is quite crazy idea. But we are with this project. We are actually at the very end. I mean, we're gonna play it, but these transcriptions already exist. We play them, and we just prepare ourselves for recording sessions.
So we can look forward to hearing them.
Sure.
I hope you like it. I mean, Chopin music.
I'm very curious. Sorry for interrupting you. Could you tell us more about your collaboration with Michał Roth?
Sure. You want to know how it started?
Yeah, I'm very curious.
First of all, we met quite late. Let's say we knew about each other, but we started to play 5 years ago, more or less. The starting point was quite simple. I was just attending the Queen Elizabeth competition, the first edition for cello, and I had to do my my recording for a pre-selection for the competition. And I just looked for a pianist, and actually Michał, he had a duo. They are still playing in a duo with other cellists, who is my really great friend, and he's a member of the Polish cello quartet. So it's a kind of family, all that. And we played together for this recording. We practiced together, and like from the first rehearsal, we thought it's working pretty well, and we understand each other without talking too much. And
at the end, speak.
We just decided to do it, and then came the project that I was involved from the very beginning with the Weinberg, and we got kind of scholarship support from the Polish government. So we played a series of. We could premiere this CD, and we played a series of concerts around Poland with this repertoire, and that somehow this glued the duo. And it's like this until now. The great thing with him, and you know, he had birthday yesterday.
Oh,
so happy birthday!
Happy birthday to Michał.
Happy birthday!
So the great thing with Michał is that we are always creative on our rehearsals. And we push ourselves, like we push each other to the limits.
Yeah, I felt this listening to your performances. I felt this connection. I think it's something very special, and I think this kind of connection is something that you can have naturally. It's not something that you can build over time. You can have or you cannot have.
Exactly. Yeah, and there is, we now talk about cooperation in chamber music in ensembles that like a long distance cooperation. Yes. And I just yesterday I was listening to an interview with a famous Indian tabla player. Tabla is the percussion instrument. He was just saying that he got this question about cooperation, like what he thinks about doing kind of projects, festival projects, and what he thinks about cooperation in general. And he said, it's very interesting, and for me, it's really interesting when we cooperate during a festival. You play with, for example, you play with people that you don't know each other, don't know at all. You meet for 2 rehearsals and you play a concert. It's really amazing. It's really, the adrenaline is really high. But I think me and Michał somehow we really like the fact that we know each other so well as humans and as musicians, that we since the fact that we know what to expect, from his playing, I can like from little phrase that he's doing, I can expect what he'll do next.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. There is a fantastic feeling. You don't need words. You don't need to plan the interpretation, because you can feel so well your partner during the performance that you can know before what he will do, in the next phrase, or next crescendo, how he will manage it. It's fantastic.
And the good thing about it, because now it sounds too easy. When you know what the other person will do, it sounds like boring. But it's not, because with this you can go even further. You can risk more.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
You trust each other. So
yeah,
and I think
music, knowing the car you are riding, you are driving. Yeah.
Since the music it's about creativity, I think risk is good.
Yeah, exactly.
It's needed.
I would like to ask you one question about music. How do you think about the role of classical music in the contemporary society? What is the role of classical music?
I think first of all, it has a great impact on social environment, and I think it's as you said, you don't need words. The thing is with words, it's easy to go to the when you speak, it's quite easy to get in a trap of disagreement.
Yeah.
And with music, it's this problem is gone. You may not like it, but it's when it's great and when it's
there is a deeper connection between human beings.
You just don't care.
Yeah.
It's very strange. There are a lot of people they write about classical music. There are people they only write and talk and talk and talk. When I think personally about music, there is nothing to talk. You have to listen and open your heart.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Exactly. It's like everybody who is open to listen to classical music, and he's open to explore their feelings as a human being can understand classical music. Yeah.
But making it more practical, how about the importance of classical music. I remember some years ago, there was an idea coming up of building this great concert hall in Wrocław, in my place, the National Forum of Music, and same amazing hall in Katowice, which is the city which is like 2 hours driving from Wrocław. And people were just saying it's stupid. Yeah, we don't need that. You spend millions on these big concert halls; they will be empty. And now all the concerts in Katowice and Wrocław, they are sold out. But more, I was reading I think 2 years ago. These halls, they exist since 7 years, I think. They built them in the same moment. And like 2 years or 3 years ago, I was reading some article in a economical newspaper, and there was the article was about the fact that this concert hall and all the concert series cycles that are played there, it influenced the business. It influenced the economy of the city.
They had an impact on the economy of the the society.
But this is something that is very hard to count because you have to spend a lot, and music is not something that you earn from. In general, art, it's I remember one of the writers said that art is useless in general. From the practical point of view, it is somehow you can say we don't need it, but then read that thanks to this community, musician community and social community around the concert halls, it becomes more interesting for investors. I think even from practical point of view, music is kind of good.
Wow, Alex.
We have a fantastic question. Bravo, Alex. Very good. So, what do you think can be done to increase the percentage of ticket sales among the younger generation for classical music concerts? Are there any specific initiatives or approaches that you think could be effective in engaging younger audiences and making classical music more accessible and appealing to them?
Fantastic question.
Very important question. Thanks. I think it starts very early, and it's again something that you cannot really count so easily. And I think in general, if more people will know about what is music in general from childhood, then some percentage of these people will stay and will come to the concerts just because they are interested, just because they have good thoughts about their childhood. I mean, maybe it's because my wife teaches kids mostly. She teaches Suzuki method, and it's so important to teach this young generation, the youngest generation, so they know what is music and how demanding it is from us, from musicians, and also to learn how much fun you can have with it. Basically, like putting it very simple. So I think if you start with this it's a good starting point. Also, of course, especially in these times when we have so much technology and so much advertisement also, it's so important to follow this idea and follow the development of advertisement. I think this what you do is very important.
Thank you. We are very proud.
Yeah.
Very proud.
I think people, especially when they don't know at all about classical music life, they think we are just from different world.
Yeah, like we are aliens.
Yeah, and that's very sad somehow. I don't understand that.
No, we are aliens, actually.
Yeah,
we are aliens.
This is the real, the reality. We are aliens.
Also, we are just human beings, yes. So everybody knows that the first thing we are approaching now the financial crisis, yes. So
we've been approaching it for a while.
Yeah, for a while.
I've been feeling this approach very strongly.
Now we will start to dance. We didn't see anything yet.
So the first thing that people cut financially, it's going for concerts, is the art, and you can see it clearly because we have now in Poland we have a lot of little festivals, and most often on those festivals you don't pay for a ticket. They are open. They are supported by private companies, by the government, more often by private companies, and you can see it clearly. But when it's free, it's full, it's sold out. When it's about to pay, just people have to think economically.
Yeah, but it's very, very, very strange how people they think about paying a ticket for a concert when they spend money for all kind of bullshit, let's say, or you can pay extra money for a movie, for a ticket for a cinema in 3D, and you cannot pay for a concert. Come on, the money is not the problem. The problem is the idea behind what classical music. So the problem is not the money. The problem is what we give to our audience. That should be reinvented, I think.
Yeah,
exactly.
You're right.
The product that we are creating, that we are proposing.
I'm going to say that I think a lot of audience members maybe understand that classical music is not just entertainment, but it's something that nourishes the soul. It's something that goes beyond. You can't. Netflix is entertainment as well, but classical music is not just that. It's something more.
But that's why, because if we just think about this that people spend money for other things and prefer, it's quite normal. If we think about ourselves like about animals, it's really normal to go for entertainment, to prefer to go for entertainment than to go somewhere that you have to pay and you have to do something instead of just having fun.
But I didn't understand you. Sorry. What do you mean? You prefer entertainment? But what is your point?
I mean,
something that you can passively absorb.
Yeah. But that's why it's so important to teach people from on a young stage, not to become professional musicians, but to know that this,
to appreciate,
apart from yes, to appreciate, apart from the fact that you have to work for it, the music or whatever it is, art can bring you like great emotion, nice thoughts, great feelings, something more than
full life.
Yeah,
I would say.
And
very well. I think
there's no other way. All the other things are just tools. the advertisement, the videos, YouTube, Facebook, whatever. Yeah.
I think that's a wonderful note that we can end this episode on, because we're coming up on time. I want to thank you for sharing your experiences and your knowledge. We want to share the thoughts and perspectives of musicians other than pianists, because Le Salon de la Musique is a place for all classical musicians and more broadly, all artists. So we're glad you could join us today. Thank you.
Thank you.
As always,
thank you. Pleasure.
As always, thank you everyone in the audience for watching, listening, and subscribing. We hope you enjoyed this Meet the Artist episode, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Before we close, a word from our sponsor.